So I want to talk to you guys about the great white throne of judgment. Who's going to be at the great white throne of judgment? What is the great white throne of judgment? Will there be believers? Is it just for non-believers? And everything that encompasses this meeting. To clarify first, there's two separate judgments. There's the Bema Seat, which is for believers, and then there is the great white throne of judgment, which is for the non-believers. We get our context in Revelation chapter 20 on the great white throne of judgment. So let's go ahead and jump in. Then I saw a great white throne and him who sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God, and books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged according to their works, by the things which were written in the books. The sea gave up the dead who were in it, and death and Hades delivered up the dead who were in them. And they were judged, each one according to his works. Then death and Hades were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And anyone not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So the great white throne of judgment is actually for the non-believer. It's all the people who have rejected Christ. They have come to their final meeting where they will stand before God. This is actually something really important to understand, that we all have a final meeting at the end of our life where we will stand before God and give account for our life. Non-believers will give account for their life, and believers will give account for their life at the Bema Seat. Now, I'm going to be making a video on the Bema Seat because not a lot of people are teaching this subject, and it's literally the most important meeting of the believer's life. The apparent contradiction between John 5:24, whoever believes does not come into the judgment. So we see that John 5:24 is talking about whoever is believing does not actually go to the great white throne of judgment, that your name is written in the book of life. So you go to the Bema Seat. 2 Corinthians 5:10, we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. There is no escaping standing before God. There is no escaping standing before God at the great white throne of judgment for the non-believer. And there is no escaping of standing before God as a believer at the Bema Seat. Based on Revelation 20:11-15, this judgment occurs before a great white throne, symbolizing the purity of God and the authority of God. If we look in Isaiah chapter 6, we can see what our ruler looks like. It says that Isaiah saw the Lord high and lifted up, and that the train of his robe filled the temple. What's fascinating about that is that during the time of Isaiah, when a king would go and defeat another kingdom, he would cut off the back of the robe and stitch it onto his robe, so that the more robes that king had stitched onto his robe meant that he was all-powerful, had more authority, and was intimidating to other kingdoms. Well, the reality is there has never been a king on this earth where his entire robe was stitched and filled the temple. We have a king who is righteous, who is pure, who is honest, who is faithful, and he will judge accurately, and there will be no manipulation. There will be no escaping. The intentions of our heart will be exposed. Now, when the scripture mentions in Revelation 20 that the small and great will rise, it is talking about and referring to status in life. It doesn't matter if you were poor or if you were a president or you were an astronaut. It doesn't matter what you were. Everyone will rise from every nation, from every tribe, and every tongue, and they will stand before a holy and just God. When the history books are open and the non-believer stands before the Lord and has to give account for his life, for not receiving the mercy, the love, the hope, the goodness, the kindness, the righteousness of God, for not receiving those things, they are going to get the consequence or get the reward that they asked for, and that is eternal damnation. I want to encourage you guys with this. Go and preach the gospel. Go and share the gospel. Save as many people from going to the great white throne of judgment. Go and share your faith. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a fantasy. This is going to happen. Everyone will stand before a great king and give account for their life. Bless you guys.